Good afternoon, everyone. Pastor Ron Brown from the First Congregational Church in Southington, Connecticut, here with a preview of our worship services for tomorrow and some upcoming things that are happening weekend after this. So I'm coming to you late this week. Normally, Pastor Laura and I do this worship preview in the middle of the week. I've been away at a preaching conference this week called the Festival of Homiletics in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Heard a lot of inspiring sermons and worship services and lectures on preaching. So a very inspiring time, but glad to be back for this weekend and for our special worship service tomorrow. Pastor Laura is on vacation this week, so we hope that she's enjoying some time away. We do have two worship services tomorrow, and they will be very special. At 8 o'clock in the Barnes Memorial Chapel. That's a more brief service with scripture, a testimony this week that I'll tell you about in just a moment, a hymn, communion, just a wonderful way to start your Sunday morning. Again, 8 o'clock in the Barnes Memorial Chapel. And then at 10:15, our worship service here in our historic meeting house, which includes a variety of inspiring music, also scripture, the testimony, a holy surprise for our children before they go off to their age-appropriate church school classes, communion, prayer, a wonderful way to spend part of your Sunday morning. If you're not able to join us in person, the 10:15 service is live streamed. You can join us on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, or directly on our website at fccsouthington.org/live stream. And if you aren't able to join us tomorrow morning, you can participate in the worship later. They are archived on all three of those places. As I said, tomorrow is a special Sunday in the life of our congregation. It is Mental Health Awareness Sunday. We will be talking about and focusing on our opportunities and even obligations as a church to support people who struggle with mental health. So a lot of several special things happening. One, we will hear about a designation called WISE, which means welcoming, inclusive, supportive, and engaged, which is a national designation from the United Church of Christ for congregations who covenant to walk alongside and support people who struggle with mental health. Dan Gabri is going to offer a brief description of the WISE process and how we as a congregation are going to engage in that. Also, we will hear a very powerful testimony from Steve Palmeri, who is going to share part of his story and his struggle with mental health. It will be a very powerful testimony that he will share with us. So I hope that you will join us and help us to understand what it means to be supportive of all people. We are an open and affirming church. We seek to welcome and affirm all people to become part of our congregation, and that is certainly true of people who struggle with mental health. So that will be the focus of our worship tomorrow as we participate in this special Sunday. I also want to tell you just a little bit about what's happening next Sunday, May 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend. On May 28th, we are going to kick off the celebration of our 300th anniversary as a congregation. On May 30th, 1724, the General Assembly of the Colony of Connecticut authorized the creation of our congregation. We're going to spend a whole year observing and celebrating that. But we're going to start in a very special way. We're going to go back to where we began. The first meeting house of our church was built in what is now Oak Hill Cemetery, just about a mile here from our current meeting house, which is the third. There is a big rock up in the cemetery there, which marks the spot of our first meeting house. So we're going to gather around that area and have a brief worship service. We'll have a snare drum that will call us to worship, which would have been very similar to what would have happened in the 18th century, and some other simple music, which would have also been appropriate during that time. I'll offer a brief message, and it will kick us off for a great celebration of our 300th anniversary. Our 300th year begins this month in ministry. And it's not just about looking back at what we've done and what we've accomplished, but using the lens of our history, our 300 years, and all that we have done and seen and been through over that time as a lens to the future. What is God calling us to next? So I hope you will join us this Sunday tomorrow for Mental Health Awareness Sunday, and then be sure to mark your calendar if you'll be in town for Memorial Day weekend to join us for the kickoff of our 300th anniversary celebration. So may God bless you on this rainy afternoon, and I hope to see you tomorrow morning.